Most people think the gardening season winds down in July. The heat is at its worst. The garden looks tired. Half the summer crops are either struggling or already done. And the natural instinct is to step back, let things finish out, and start fresh in spring. But the gardeners, who consistently get the most out of their growing space, the ones who harvest well into October and November, they are not stepping back in July. They are starting over. Right now, with a completely different set of plants built for exactly what the next 3 months are going to bring. Fall gardening is not an afterthought. It is a second season, and in many ways it is actually a better one than summer. Today, what to plant, when to plant it, and why starting this week gives you an advantage that waiting even 2 more weeks will take away. Here is something most gardeners do not know about fall crops. They do not just tolerate cooler temperatures. They actually need them to taste the way they are supposed to taste. Kale that never experiences a frost is decent. Kale that has been through 1 or 2 frosts is genuinely sweet. The cold converts the plant's starches into sugars as a survival mechanism. Carrots do the same thing. So does spinach. So does beet. The crops we are planting this week are not settling for the season that is left. They are waiting for the season that is coming. And they will produce their best harvests in the exact conditions that shut your tomatoes and squash completely down. There is also a pest advantage that most people never consider. The insects that cause the most damage in a summer garden, aphids, caterpillars, squash beetles, their populations collapse as temperatures drop. A fall crop goes in after the worst of the pest pressure has already passed. If this is your first time here, subscribe now and hit the bell. Every week we cover the methods and timing that actually change what you harvest. The single most important thing to understand about fall gardening is this. You are not planting for now. You are planting backwards from your first frost date. Every crop has what is called a days to maturity number. That is how many days from planting to harvest under normal conditions. A lettuce variety that says 45 days needs 45 days of growing, time before it is ready. Your job is to count backwards. From the average first frost date in your area, typically late, October or November for most of the U.S. Add 2 extra weeks as a buffer for the fact that growth slows as daylight shortens. And that tells you the last possible date you can put a seed in the ground and still get a harvest. For most of the continental U.S., that calculation puts the planting window right here. This week, late July. The first 2 weeks of August at the absolute latest for most crops. Wait until September and the window has closed. The plants will sprout. They will even grow, but they will not mature before the cold shuts them down. This is not a general guideline. It is a hard deadline, and it is the reason why fall gardeners, who get results, start earlier than feels natural. So, what actually goes in the ground right now? I want to give you 5 crops that consistently perform well in fall. Containers and raised beds. Crops that are easy to source, reliable to grow, and genuinely worth the effort in the weeks ahead. Specifically, loose leaf varieties, red sales, black-seeded Simpson, oak leaf. These mature in 40 to 50 days, and they are extraordinarily productive in cool weather. A single container of loose leaf lettuce planted this week will be producing harvestable leaves by the first week of September and continue well into October. The key with fall lettuce is germination. Lettuce seed has a built-in mechanism that suppresses germination in temperatures above 27 degrees Celsius. It is called thermodormancy, and it is the plant protecting its seeds from sprouting into a heat wave they cannot survive. If you are starting seeds now and they are failing to sprout, it is not the seed. It is the temperature. The fix is simple. Germinate your lettuce indoors, on a cool countertop, away from direct sun, and transplant the seedlings out once they are 2 to 3 centimeters tall. Spinach is the most cold-tolerant of the leafy greens. It will grow in temperatures that stop almost everything else. Planted now, it will be ready in 40 to 50 days, and it will continue producing through frosts that would end a lettuce crop entirely. One thing to know about fall spinach, it is significantly better tasting than spring spinach. The cold sweetens it in a way that warm season growing never does. If you have tried spinach in summer and found it bitter, fall spinach is a completely different experience. Kale planted in late July gives you a plant that is well established by the time the first frosts arrive. And that is exactly when kale hits its peak flavor. The cold stress triggers the plant to convert stored starches to sugar. You can taste the difference. Varieties to look for: dwarf blue curled, lacinato, or red Russian. All 3 handle cold well and produce leaves over an extended harvest window. Not one big flush, but a steady supply of leaves over weeks. Radishes are the fastest return on this entire list. 25 to 30 days from seed to harvest. Plant them now and you are eating them in late August. Plant another batch in 2 weeks and you have a continuous supply running through September. They take almost no space. A 5-liter container will grow a dozen radishes easily, and they work beautifully as a gap filler between larger crops. This is the one on the list that surprises people. Garlic is typically planted in autumn for harvest the following summer, but individual cloves planted now in containers give you what is called green garlic or garlic shoots by October and November. Not full bulbs, but the shoots and leaves have a mild garlic flavor that works in cooking and salads. And in a container, they require almost no maintenance between planting and harvest. Knowing what to plant is only half of it. 2. Quick things make the difference between a harvest and a disappointment. Do 2 quick prep steps before you plant. Refresh, not replace, your soil. 5 to 10 centimeters of fresh compost worked into the top layer, where new roots establish. Then protect from heat these seedlings weren't built for. Water deep in the early morning, mulch heavy, and keep the root zone cool through the afternoon. 2 more. Stagger your plantings 2 weeks apart instead of all at once. That alone extends your harvest window by weeks. And chase afternoon sun as the autumn angle drops. South or west-facing spots start winning. A frost warning in October doesn't end your harvest. For these crops, it's a quality upgrade. And you can stretch that even further. A single layer of floating row cover, no frame needed, protects several degrees below freezing. Gardeners who use it harvest leafy greens into December in zones where the unprotected season ends in October. Modest investment. One of the biggest returns in this whole guide, especially in containers, since they already hold heat better than in-ground beds. There is a version of gardening that treats the year as one season. Spring planting, summer growing, autumn stopping, and there is a version that treats it as 2 seasons, the warm season and the cool season, each with its own crops, its own rhythms, and its own rewards. The gardeners who get the most from their space, their containers, their balconies, they are not doing more. They are simply not stopping when the summer crops slow down. The ground is not going anywhere. The containers are sitting there. The light is still good. The only thing missing is the decision to plant something new. Make that decision this week. The plants will do the rest. Nature is patient. So are we. Tell me in the comments, are you a 2-season gardener, or has fall planting always felt like something you would get to eventually? I read every single one. Your garden is not failing you. It is teaching you. I will see you in the next file.